All right, so let me tell you who this video is first of all for. If you clicked on this and maybe you're scared of failure, this video is for people who basically they're like on a super good streak and then they just fail. And then back on a super good streak and then they just fail. And you lose so much self-trust because you keep on failing yourself. That's who this is for, right? And what you need to come to, like basically I just tell you, like, quick and shortly, you need to understand that you will fail. No matter how much you don't want to fail, you will fail, right? And I'm talking about self-sabotage. You will self-sabotage yourself, yeah? And that is not the problem. The problem is not self-sabotaging yourself. The problem is how do you deal with it, right? And if you think that basically, no, I can be super disciplined, I'm gonna click off this video, please do not. The reason why is because even David Goggins, if you don't know who David Goggins is, he's basically a guy who ran miles on broken feet, right? He's a guy, I think he ran 100 miles in less than 24 hours or something, right? I don't know exactly how much it was, but crazy feats, right? 4,000 pull-ups in X amount of hours. I don't know how much it was, right? 4,000 pull-ups in 24 hours. I don't know, but something like that, right? Crazy feats, right? World records and stuff like that. And even he himself, he said that he had to teach himself how to fail. Even he was self-sabotaging himself when he was trying to lose fat. Yeah? Like he lost 100 pounds in like 3 months or something, and he was self-sabotaging himself. The first time he went to run, he basically like came back home and started eating chips. He said it himself on a podcast. Yeah? I still never realized it yet. I watched the podcast, I still did not actually take it in. Understand that you will fail. And every single time you're trying to have that all or nothing mentality, understand it's nothing more than basically procrastination and laziness disguised as perfection. That is simply what it is. And it's just the old frequency, the old you understands. It understands by law basically, right? By law that you are going to fail, and it knows basically you're gonna fail, so it tries to make you think that if you're basically, changed, you will never fail. Trust me, you will still fail. The thing is, you might think David Goggins is not failing now. He still fails, I'm sure of it. There are still days where you would fail. There are still days. Obviously, it minimizes the longer you go because the better you will get. Because it's basically minimizing the amount of failures you have, right? Not cutting it out altogether. I'm not saying you don't try. You strive for the best, but you don't beat down yourself for days when you don't get the best. And that's what I was doing. I'll give you like a perfect example, right? Let's say like, I scroll for like 20 minutes or something, or like I fall back into bad habits. I would make that take days to heal off. Why? Because basically I just had like a super emotional reaction to it. And it's not just that alone. It can be other things in your life, right? Because other problems in my life would arise, because I was like homeless a year ago. So like there's so many different stuff that would arise, right? It basically in my life, and I would let it take days to heal off. I would take days to heal off something. And that basically is wrong. Like you cannot take days to heal off something that could be dealt in like a few minutes. In a few seconds, you could be like, okay, let's just get back on track. And I'm gonna give you a formula for you to deal with this whole thing, and literally what I am gonna be doing, right? To like when I like, falter and when I fail. Because that is what the people who are the best in the world, they simply learn how to deal with failures better than everyone else, right? Like Elon Musk. He failed with like the rocket ships like 4 times or something, and these are big failures. That's like a whole like billions of dollars just wasted there on one thing. And he did like 4 times he failed, right? Or maybe even more. I don't know exactly how much it was. And you're scared of failure. Now another thing I used to tell myself was, but this is something outside of your control. Discipline is inside of my control, so why am I self-sabotaging myself? Which means I'm just hopeless. It's a hopeless case because the rocket ship blowing up is not it's not his fault, right? He could not control that. Like he did his best. But when you don't go to the gym, when you told yourself you could go to the gym and you have 2 legs and you have a brain to know that you have to go, but you still don't go and you stay inside, right? And you literally just continue scrolling, or you do the bad habits, yeah? Or you tell yourself I'm gonna post every single day for 90 days to get to blow up on Instagram, and you don't do it, what do you expect, right? Basically, even that too, you should expect. You should expect for you to feel that way, right? Because you're human and you're not a robot. You should even expect for you to feel that way too, for you to sometimes not keep your word. And how do you recover from that? How do you recover from that? Yeah, like when you try, like the more you keep on striving to have like a perfect streak of just full discipline, that's when you mess it up even more. Because when you basically falter in any way, shape, or form, you will basically just beat down yourself. And that's what I was doing. I would just beat down myself for like days, and I'd be like, why? And then I would continue like staying in my bad habits. What you do, right? I don't know if basically you're like relating to what I'm saying. Here's what you do, right? You'd basically like fall into your bad habits for like a few seconds or a few minutes. Then it's like you just continue staying because you're like, I already scrolling. Let me just scroll for another like 2 hours, right? And that's into 6 hours, and that's into 8 hours, and that's into 10 hours. Yeah. And you know why? You know why? It's simply because you're guilt tripping yourself. You're telling yourself, I already did it. I might as well just continue. And this just always happens. I can't control myself. And then after like you watch some motivational videos. You're like, okay, let's get back on it, right? And then it happens again. You know why? Because you're dealing with it emotionally. You cannot deal with your failures emotionally. You have to deal with your failures logically. So how I am dealing with it, right? And basically, you can just learn this the hard way. You can keep on trying to be perfect, and guess what? You just never be perfect. Shit, my throat. Like you could keep on trying to do it, and then sooner or later you learn. The older you get, you'll be like, just trying to make everything perfect is just never gonna work. So here's what I'm doing. I'm using a formula, and I got this from another creator. TRFA. First is tolerance, then is resilience, then it's fortitude, and then lastly adaptability. So tolerance is how long can you like stay on the path that you chose for yourself? How long can you stick to the plan, right, without deviating from it because of external or internal circumstances and so on, right? So basically, how long can you stay on the path for? Then resilience is when you fail, how far will you let yourself go? So you were on the path and then you start scrolling, right? Or you were on the path of posting and then you stop posting. Will you let that last for 1 day, or will you let that last for 5 days? Because you did not post on Wednesday, are you gonna wait until next week, or are you just gonna continue posting on Friday? You missed Thursday, right? Are you just gonna just waste the next set of 3 days, or are you gonna like start back one time? That is resilience. How fast can you basically resilience is basically how far will you let yourself drop, right? So you're not gonna let yourself drop too low, right? Same thing for scrolling. Like you scroll for like 10 minutes, you catch yourself tell you, hey, what are you doing? You stop right there. You don't continue, right? When you make the conscious decisions, like, I'm just going to continue, that basically your resilience is low, okay? So you basically stop yourself. Like, how fast can you stop yourself? That's resilience. Fortitude is how fast can you reach back to your baseline or reach back on the path. So how fast can you reach back on the path? Yeah? And basically, after you reach back on the path, right? So you basically, tolerance, you dip, resilience, fortitude, how fast can you reach back on the path of like the tolerance? And then adaptability is if you can get better. Because when you fail, you should learn, right? You should learn like, okay, I'm not gonna make this mistake again. If you make the same mistake, that means you didn't learn anything, right? So, and making the same mistake, sometimes you can still scroll, but some other thing caused it, right? So that doesn't mean you didn't learn. Maybe something else caused it, and you must make sure you don't make that other thing cause it, right? Because you could still do the same outcome. You can still miss days, but it's because of a different circumstance. And you make sure that circumstance doesn't thing, because there's many different things that could bring the same outcome, right? You just need to make sure, like, there's many different ways to skin a cat. So there's many different ways for you to fail and literally fail and cause the same outcome. So you just have to learn all the different ways and make sure none of them happen. That's why it's limiting failure, not cutting it all out, because it's almost impossible, right? Yes, all things are possible, but you simply just don't have an emotional reaction. That's what I would say. The main thing is like, the thing is, you can strive to be perfect, but the problem comes when you start having an emotional reaction to it. That's where the problem starts. So basically, what I told myself I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have first of all tolerance. Try not to come off the path. But if for some reason I come off the path, there is always a voice that tells you, hey, you're doing something bad. Because the thing is, like, sometimes you might like end up in a bad habit without you even knowing, right? You might be scrolling without you even like getting to know or something, right? Or it just happens so subtly. And then you might catch yourself, because there's always a part before you catch yourself and you choose willingly to continue, right? And then you catch yourself. So I'm like, okay, hey, I catch myself, right? So let me basically, instead of like continue and guilt tripping myself because I already stopped, let me just stop, right? And then I basically go back to to fortitude. So I use my fortitude, I reach back to my baseline. And you don't want to try and like learn from the lesson when you just created it, because you're still in the whole emotional reaction. I'm sure you've seen like when you falter or when you mess up, for you to simply just like start back acting and going on the path, it's a bit hard because you have a bit of emotional kind of thing, and like you feel really bad that you messed up. So it's not good, it's not a good moment for you to like reflect on what happened. You want to reflect on it. I'm reflecting on it before I go sleep, right? Because the problem won't happen then. So basically before I go sleep, okay, let me see what happened, and let me reflect on that mistake. That's the best time for me to do it. You just want to wait like a few hours, right? Or just wait some time after the mistake has happened and then reflect on it. You don't want to reflect on it immediately, right? And then you adapt and you get better. That's simply what you have to do basically in terms of failure. And I'll be honest, like that is like a big thing I had to learn. Like Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, he always say like failure. I had to learn to fail, and it's like you get better from your failures, right? We all make mistakes, and that's the thing. Like beating up yourself, sometimes like you really want your goals real bad, and that's not bad. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like you don't want to be beating up yourself emotionally, because that's what was happening to me, right? Because I was almost like I need to be perfect, and that is what, because I would sometimes progress and I would still feel angry at myself, right? And it simply was like literally all that anger was basically the emotional baggage of when I make a mistake. And the mistakes was not even the real problem, because I'll be honest, I could have all the mistakes I could have made 10 times the mistakes and just had a proper emotional reaction to it, and literally just get back on track faster, and then yeah, nothing would have happened, right? But it's more so the little problems, because like the mistake is normally like 10 minutes long or like 5 minutes long, right? Like you don't continue scrolling, right? Or you don't continue not posting for like days and stuff like that. That only happens when you guilt trip yourself and you're like, I already did it, I might as well just continue. Yeah, that basically is the problem right there. That's the problem. Yeah. So that's what I would say, like to like failure. And I also like wanna so yeah, that's basically the whole video now. I'm so like, it's crazy, man. I don't even know if anyone will watch this. But anyways, I want to start like basically every single week just documenting my life. I may put this thing like homeless to 1 million. Like that's what I may put the series as, and every single week I just like do a video documenting my life. Maybe I can turn it into a vlog, and yeah, something like that. Because yeah, basically I want to like make sure I document the journey, every single day and so on. And I'll be honest, like I know basically, yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to kind of like talk about, and um, it's basically just pushing myself to my limits. I was thinking, right, like I want to achieve my goals, right? I want to achieve my goals so bad. I'm really driven by competition. Like I want to be better than other people, and when I mean better than other people, I want to be like number one, basically, right? Like, or whatever I do, I want to be number one at it, right? I don't like doing things just for fun, just for the fun of it. There's nothing I do for fun, to be honest, right? Everything I do, I always just want to be the best at it, to be honest. Yeah. So basically, I was thinking like, if I want to be number one, right, I simply need to go through more pain than everyone else. And I was like thinking of like, yes, bro, I just need to go through more pain, right? Like when I go training, I need to train like a maniac. I need to train until like my legs hurt me, and basically like my lungs are burning. And it's like when I work on my business, bro, I have to like be ruthless. I have to be like ruthless. Like I have to be sending tons of DMs. I have to be posting tons of content. I have to be ruthless. I have to be, basically like, like not wasting a single second at all, right? I was on a sales call to the end, like I don't know, like basically the guy, I don't know, he was like, he wasn't even looking serious. I was like, bro, you can't waste on that. Let's get off that call one time. Boom, on to the next, right? Like not wasting any time before I like try and squeeze out every single like sales calls trying to make a piece of money, right? It's not even that. I only work with serious people. Like literally just pushing myself through so much unimaginable pain, and basically compress years of pain. Because you know, people like go through painful periods in their life and they grow. I want to compress that, like 10 years of pain into months, into 3 months, into 90 days. Go through so much pain, right? Literally, literally take myself to the maximum, right? Where basically I just completely changed my life. Like that's what I've been thinking. Like that's literally what I want to do, to be honest. Like, and obviously it's hard. Not like, no music, no, motivational stuff, right? No, nothing. Just basically grinding. Just like grinding like crazy. That's what I want to do. Like, that's literally what I want to do. I want to push myself through crazy amounts of pain, uncertainty, um, doubt, fear, basically pushing myself through every single thing and basically coming on top of it after. Yeah. And that's literally what I want to do, to be honest. Like, I'm just seeking out the pain, and I'll be honest, like, I already like know what to do. It's not easy, right? It sounds nice sometimes now, like sounds motivational, but the thing is, like, it's really hard to basically push yourself past your limits. So yeah, that's basically what my two thoughts are. I'm gonna start documenting my journey more on YouTube. Gonna make sure I start posting YouTube videos no matter what. It's part of my non-negotiable, so yeah, I basically have to do it, before I go sleep. So basically, yeah, I have to do it no matter what. So yeah, you could expect more of those videos. And this, I think it's episode 6, maybe, of Homeless to $1 Million. Follow for episode 7. See?